Welcome back to the REI Marketing Weekly. It's your host, Josh Culler with Color Media and REI.video. And I am super excited to have a good friend of mine, Austin Deraaff, out of New York. Austin, what's going on, man? How you doing?
My man, Josh, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I love it. I'm happy to bring some value here today.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're watching on the video feed right now, I'm having major issues with my video feed, but this goes to show you guys, I always preach, keep it simple when it comes to your content that you're doing. And so I've got like this crazy setup and now like stuff isn't working. So that just goes to show you. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, then go check me out on YouTube, The Content Ninja, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to leave it. I might look like the Hulk right now, but it's okay. It's just, we're going to just call it a filter. Anyway, so Austin is a part of a mastermind that I'm in as well called Collective Genius. And we've actually not got to hang out at all. There's such a big group and like, there's so much that's going on throughout the day. So hopefully up in March, we'll be able to hang out and,
Yes,
chill a
sir.
little bit. So that'll be cool. But Austin and I have, talked about what we're going to talk about today, which is going to be omnipresent in your marketing. I'm super excited about this because this is something that I personally am a big fan of and talk about a lot when it comes down to your marketing. And I don't use that word omnipresent, but I love it. I think it's awesome. So Austin, I'm going to give him credit for that. But Austin, do me a favor, for the people that don't know who you are, introduce yourself a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you've gotten to where you are today.
Yep. So again, thank you so much for having me on here. So I'm missing my partner. He's also my brother, Jake. So I have a twin brother named Jake. So basically we started off in real estate when we were 19 years old, dropped out of school. It wasn't for us. And then the summer of 2017, Jake dropped on my desk a course and it said how to buy real estate with no money down, no credit, no license. I was like, okay, I have no money. I have no credit. I don't have a real estate license. This is probably for me because back forward, I was always interested in real estate. I just didn't know how to get into it. I thought you needed money. I thought you needed, license, experience. So when I found out about wholesaling, we jumped all in. So it took us about 8 months to get our first deal. But once we got our first deal, kind of momentum started to shift. But yeah, basically right now, fast forward a couple of years, we have a full office, doing a few $1 million in real estate, fixed and flip, wholesaling, buying apartment buildings, and we're continuing to move forward.
That's awesome, dude. So how old are you right now?
23.
23. Okay. So you're only 4 years younger than I am. So I think it's a huge kudos, man. So you're definitely, there's another guy that's 26 now, Greg Helbeck, that I've had on the show here. So you're definitely the youngest person that's been on the show. And it's good to see like, younger people like yourself, like Greg and, obviously your brother and whatnot that are getting into real estate and realizing like, hey, this is the way that we could go. It doesn't have to be part of the system and that kind of thing. So I'm sure you and I could riff all day long about, mindsets and like entrepreneurship for young people and stuff like that. So maybe we'll have to do something separate on that note. But I'm excited to have you, man. So we're going to talk about, so you're in a very tough market. Like, well, maybe that's something we could talk about too, but you're in a very tough market, which is would you consider that northern New York, that area?
Yeah, I would consider that. Yeah.
Okay. So you do a lot when it comes to marketing, right? And there's a lot of, it's going to be primarily the digital space that you do your marketing in. And then we were talking right before the show, you did have mentioned how you use your data to literally juice out as much as you possibly can. So, something that we talked about before is that, some people, they'll get their data with the lists or whatever. They'll cold call the list and then they get a new set of data and then they'll text message that list and then a new set of data and then direct mail. And that's really inefficient because you're just getting new data that you may think is new, but could be very repetitive in what you're doing. So let's talk about this. So we've got about 15 minutes to riff here. So omnipresent in marketing, what does that mean to you? Like, why did you bring that up when we first started, discussing what we're going to talk about here?
Yeah, before I get into it, I did not make this up myself. Sean Terry, I watched one of his YouTube videos and he kind of established this principle and then I just kind of took it from there. So omnipresence is like this. It's like you look everywhere, you look to your left, you look to your right. That person or that figure is in front of your face. You need to have that in your business because if you're not in front of them, someone else is. So you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to close the deal or do you want your competitor to close the deal? So we're always trying to obviously close deals and make money. So basically what omnipresent is a simple concept. You do multi-level marketing channels, but they're all congruent. They all have a flow towards it. For example, we pull a list, Josh. Let's say we get a pre-foreclosure list. All right, pre-foreclosure, great. They're pre-foreclosure. We're going to call it first. Hey, Mrs. Homeowner, We're looking to buy the property on 123 Main Street. Have you considered selling? They say no. Okay, no problem. What we do after that is then we put them on a text list. We start texting them out there because people always change. It might be a no today, but tomorrow might be a yes. So we go from getting the
So
list.
park on that just a second. Why is that?
Because the situations change, people change, things change, you know? So one day
Exactly.
something happens, they wake up, they have a health problem. Oh, they need to liquidate their property. This is what they have. This is their asset, you know? This is the only thing that they can actually pull money out of. So
that's why I wanted to
one
park
thing.
you there, because I strongly, like, everybody talks about this like 7-touch follow-up rule and all that. Like, listen, if they're motivated on the first touch, they're going to sell. If they're motivated on the 30th touch, then that's when they'll sell. Like, there's no magic number when it comes down to it. So I'm glad you said that. So continue. I apologize. I just wanted you to take that for another step, man.
Now, 100%. So basically what we do is we try to get the most juice out of these lists. So we start with the cheapest marketing channels, which is texting and leaving voicemails. So we pull the list, we text them first. Hey, this is Austin with Raven 3. Looking to see if you want to sell your property, so-and-so. They don't respond, no problem. They don't respond, we start sending them voicemails. It's called an RVM. We drop the voicemail right into their inbox. They go to the voicemail, they see a call that came in from us. That's the next form of marketing. So it's SMS, RVM, whoever's still left after that. Then we go on the auto dialer and start having our VA start cold calling them. So now we've hit them on a text message, we hit them on a RVM, and we hit them on a call. And we use the same marketing brand name so they know we're coming from all directions. So when they go to sell, even if it's in 2 years, they're like, all right, I'm gonna go with these guys. I've seen it. They've been in front of my mailbox, been on my door, et cetera, et cetera. And then after we send them a call, sometimes we do a lot of door knocking as well too. If that has to go on auction, we can't reach their phones, we can't reach their texts. We're gonna go right to their door, introduce ourselves. Hey, you know, we actually sent you a letter in the mail. I don't know if you got it, but I wanted to stop by and see if you're looking to sell the property. So we really try to stay in front of them at all different angles because like you said, there's no number to actually, you know, converting them on the follow-up. It's just consistency.
Yeah, it's consistency. And this is why I think that follow-up actually falls into marketing, not sales, because everything that you're doing, it's all follow-up. Like, everybody thinks that follow-up when it comes down to sales is a salesperson literally picking up the phone and following with that person, whether it's through email, text, or phone. But marketing, you're following up with them by touching them multiple times. And so that's why I strongly believe, and I've got other people that are on my side with that. But, you know, when it comes down to it, if you're omnipresent with them and you're always there, at some point they're going to be motivated, and then at some point they're going to be ready to sell. So that's why it's important to stay in front of them. So this whole time you're using the same list that you purchased, and you're using the same list for every single one of those touch points. Is that correct?
Yeah. So whatever list we pull, obviously, you know, 20,000, if you get these really, really big lists, you can't always do it as thorough, but obviously these smaller lists, people behind their taxes, their mortgage, you go after them a little harder. But yeah, with the same process. So it goes from a text message to an RVM to a call. Then after that, whoever doesn't respond, we'll send them out a direct mail, and then we'll call their landlines as well too. Because when we text them, it only goes to their mobile. So whoever doesn't answer, direct mail and call their landlines. And then let's say they're on they have a pre-existing event, which is a foreclosure auction or something of that nature. Then we'll actually go meet them at their house and knock on their door and see if we can get a deal done there.
So then question. So once they have, responded to you. So say for instance, they respond to you on the voicemail drop. At that point, are you stopping the next steps of marketing because that lead is now somebody that's serious in their prospect, like they've actually moved into the area of interested to sell, and now you're actually in that sales role at that point? So have you turned off the marketing sequences after that? Is that what you guys are doing?
Yeah, once someone says yes, they want to sell, we take them off the list because then they're gonna get pissed off. You know, hey, why do you keep calling me? So once they give us the yes, which is our favorite thing, then we put them into our funnel, and then from there we try to set an appointment up and close the deal.
Absolutely. Well, that's good. So I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people, they'll just continue to market to them. And first of all, like exactly like you said, they're going to be tired of you calling them and then sending them the postcard and all that. They're like, hey, I already told you I'm interested. It's going to frustrate them at that point. But on the
Exactly.
other side too, now you're wasting marketing dollars because it's a lead that's already there. And now you just got to close that deal. And
That's
now
it.
it's following up. And now it's falling into more of the sales process at that point, because you're just got to, close the deal, get the numbers right, close the deal, and that kind of thing. So out of all of those marketing sequences that you're doing right now, and let's be clear here. So what markets are you specifically operating in at this point? Like kind of give us the, the market itself, but then the, the landscape of what that looks like in comparison to say like a Bronx or something like that, that's close to where you're at.
Yeah, so we focus mainly on like suburban areas. So like obviously places where nice grass, nice backyard. So we're about 30 minutes from Manhattan. So we focus on
Okay.
Westchester County,
Okay.
a little bit more north, which is Orange County, which I think Greg Halbeck's in, a little bit more north, which is also Putnam County. So Putnam, Orange, and Westchester, and then a little bit east, we go in Connecticut as well too, Fairfield County,
Okay.
Connecticut. So those are mainly our areas.
Gotcha. So out of the marketing sequences that you're doing, what are you seeing the best results from, and why do you think you're seeing those results?
I know it sounds crazy, but this guy here, the iPhone is insane because it's crazy. Even like 55, 60-year-old people have the iPhone. So texting them, texting has been by far the biggest game changer because people
Mm,
actually see their text. You open your phone up, the first thing you're looking is your text message. So
yeah.
if a text comes in from an unknown number, you're going to look at it. And at that point, it's up to you to say, okay, do I want to sell or not? Most people, they see the message, they're not interested yet. And then we keep texting them. And then after the seventh, eighth time, they finally respond back, I'm interested.
So if you're willing to share that, so what type of messaging are you leaving inside of those text messages? Let's say on the initial touch, like what kind of messaging are you putting out there in order to try to get them hooked and respond?
Yeah, basically tell them, look, we drove past the property on so and so address, and we just kind of wanted to reach out and see if they would ever even consider or think about an offer. Kind of leave it at that. And they
Mm,
respond, yeah, make me an offer. And then from there, you gauge the conversation. A lot of times they're not interested, and we can kind of take them off the list. A lot of times they're just trying to kick tires, they're trying to waste time.
yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
good point for us because we can take them off the list. Like you said, save marketing dollars. But a lot of times they are very interested. So then from there, once they're interested, our lead manager then puts it up to an acquisition manager who then closes the deal.
Gotcha. So then, okay, so you do have like at the point where you're actually like following up to get more details about the property, are you're handing it off to an actual acquisitions agent, not really a VA, somebody that's like a lead manager type role. Is that what you guys are doing?
So the initial messages go out from a VA. So on the texting
Yeah.
platform is a VA. Once the VA sees there's some type of interest, it goes to a lead
Yeah.
manager. The lead
Got it.
manager builds a relationship. Once the relationship is built and they're ready to set an appointment up or ready to make a decision, then the acquisition goes out there and tries to make
Perfect.
a deal work.
I think that's the best way to do it. So actually, I think you were at the first CG mastermind that I was at. Frank Cava got up and talked about this exactly, where he talked about how you could run down and burn out your acquisitions agents, people that your actual salespeople, if you are putting them in the role to actually do the lead follow-up, the repetitive things where you're
It's
like,
annoying. Yeah.
it's annoying. Like it could burn somebody out very, very quickly. And I've even been in that spot before. And so I think that that's excellent that the way you do it. So you're seeing good results with that process there, then I assume.
Yeah. Because look, the acquisition guy, like you just said, they don't want to follow up a million times. They want to go there, close, move on to the next one. Just the
Yeah.
nature of the game. Lead managers, they're more customer service. They like building a relationship. They like talking to people. So
Yeah. And where are you
that's
finding
working
these
for us.
people? Those people that are the lead managers, the people that are doing the follow up. Where do you find are those VAs that you have, or what does that look like?
So one is actually a VA. She's from the Philippines, but you wouldn't even tell. She used to live in San Diego, so like kind of like an outbatch. And
Mhm.
the other one is in our local market. He's an older gentleman, really nice guy. People love him, so
Awesome.
he's a good asset.
Awesome. So he's focused on building rapport because you just said it yourself. Like he's a nice guy, and he's older guy, so he probably has a lot of relevance with the sellers that you guys are bringing
Exactly,
in.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So anything else that you want to drop on us when it comes to marketing, man? We got just a couple more minutes here. Anything else? Any other tips, hot tips? Top threes or whatever that you could lay on us before we let you go.
I would just say, look, sometimes it's better not to sell than to sell because even in marketing, like if you come off too hard with the sales, even because marketing is essentially sales, if you come off too hard with the pitch, they're gonna get turned off. So sometimes in our message, we're like, hey, you're probably not interested in an offer. We understand that, but do you know anyone else is looking to sell? Like after we've gauged the conversation with them so many times and they're like, they're just not ready to sell yet, we ask them, oh, who do you know that's interested to sell? Because at that point in time, they're just kind of kicking tires. So I think,
Mm.
you have to be really thorough with your marketing, do multi-level chains of marketing, and if you stay really consistent and do everything the same, consistency, you're gonna be very, very successful.
So, okay, one last question then. I know I said that I was going to wrap it up, but one last question. Earlier, because you made me think about it with your response there. Earlier, you had talked about, you keep the same branding all the way through all the channels. Do you get a response from people that say, I've seen you everywhere? or
Yes.
like
Yep.
your branding is always in front of me, and
Yep.
use that seems to work then for you guys?
Yeah. Because thinking like this, when I think about buying furniture, I'm going to Bob's. I think about going to Bob Furniture because they're in front of my face. I'm getting letters from them, see billboards. So like same type of way in real estate, we want to have that brand name that sits in front of them everywhere they go. It's on billboards. It's in their mail. We're at their door leaving letters. Send them text messages. If you consistently do that, they will not go to anybody else. Look, you
Mhm.
might get yelled at, say F off a couple of times. That's part of the game, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're going to have a better conversion rate than other people that are just doing text messages or just doing voicemails.
Yeah, I love that. So I in a previous life of mine, I did branding for real estate investors, and I believe in this pretty hardcore because I think that branding is essential. It's not just logos and colors; it's the actual marketing that you're implementing as well. And here's my method of branding. So branding, if you look at it as 100%, 25% is logos, colors, and design, etc. 25% is the marketing and sales that you do, and then 50% is the actual implementation, the actual execution, the customer experience, and all that stuff. So there's a lot that makes up a brand, and what they're doing here is they've got the actual branding, the logos, the colors, and stuff like that, but it's playing into that marketing and sales that they're doing, and so that's making up a whole 50% of what branding actually entails. And so I think that a lot of people put a little bit too much weight into branding, but what I've seen from a lot of active real estate investors is they're afraid of, getting that branding out there consistently and using the same brand across all channels because they think that they're going to get a lot of negative pushback and negative reviews, which you will. You're by nature, when you blow somebody's phone up, and this is why it's so important to know where the off button is. If you blow somebody up on text messages, cold calls, and RVMs and postcards, heck yeah, they're going to go leave you a review. But that's not why you have this business, right? So you got to make sure that you're, balancing that way out. And when you do market to them, do it in a way that actually will make them feel like you're going to help them and you're actually going to bring value to them in some way and not just sales, like exactly what you said. So I think that's very intelligent and that's a great way to run your marketing. So, all right,
And
man. Yeah, go ahead.
one more thing I'll add though is actually one thing that one of the biggest things me and Jake had when we first started the business. Like I said, took us 8 months to get a deal. Not one, not two, but 8 months. The reason being is we were doing a lot of marketing, but nothing consistently. We put out a bandit sign. We would go knock on one door. We would talk to one. We weren't doing anything consistently. So yes, now we're doing everything in a row. But when you want to start, you want to get really good with texting. Do that, then add on RVMs next to the chain, then add on cold calling. And then once you have everything lined up and dialed in and structured, then you can start adding on new things. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, if I'm just getting in the business, do everything in one shot. It's not going to work. Do one thing, get really good at it, outsource it, delegate
Yep.
it, and then move on to the next one.
Absolutely. And I think that, yeah, there's a lot of congruency that has to happen, right? So most real estate investors, they're already doing most of what we're talking about, but they're not, like you said, they're not consistent with it. And there's no congruency, which means the branding is in line with each other. So once you stay consistent and you keep it congruent, so the two C's, then you're going to be good to go. Like it's going to happen. And like what he said, I mean, it took him 8 months to get his first deal because he just wasn't consistent.
Yep,
And I do
exactly.
appreciate you sharing that. And that's something that people need to hear because, there is a point in marketing where, a lot of it's testing and, you got to get something 6 to 8 months to work, but you have to do it consistently. And a lot of people, they won't get results within the first 2 weeks of doing something. They're like, oh, it doesn't work. Well, it's because you didn't give it a long enough chance. It's
Yep.
not marketing is not something where you just put something out and then you automatically make money. Like it's got to stay consistent with it. So, Austin, man, I appreciate everything you've dropped here. Some incredible value. And thank you for sharing everything that you have been being open with your marketing strategies. I do want to give you the opportunity if somebody wants to reach out to you and learn more about you, you and your brother, and maybe even connect with you. Maybe they're in the New York market and whatnot. What would be the best way to make that happen? Email, phone, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to give out. What's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, no problem. And first of all, thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate you and your time. My Instagram is the Austin Austin, and my last name Deraaff Der, two A's and two F's.
Awesome. And guys, obviously all that's going to be linked below in the description. So make sure you go check that out and on the show notes on reimarketingweekly.com. All right, Austin, appreciate you, man. I look forward to having you back again soon. Hopefully we get your brother on here next time as well.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you. Thanks, Josh.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you do subscribe to the show if you haven't already. If you are on Apple Podcasts, right now is the time to head over to the homepage of this show. Leave a 5-star review with your feedback. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at The Content Ninja. And also, I am starting to ramp up TikTok, so get on there. And then also YouTube at The Content Ninja. A lot of exclusive content that's going out across platforms for us. But most importantly, the REI marketing book. Make sure you go pre-order it. I have the book over here. I should have grabbed it, but it would turn green if I did because of my camera. But the REI marketing book, make sure you go purchase it, reimarketingbook.com. We've already got over 350 pre-orders. Right now it's in pre-order stage. By the time you listen to the show, it's probably going to be published. So make sure you go get it. It's 210 pages of jam-packed full of nuggets from the top 37 real estate investors in the world, talking about their marketing tactics and everything that they do from the real estate investing business. So one more time, reimarketingbook.com. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. See you later.